Hey guys, Becky here with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited to have you join me today because we have a really cute project for our Cricut Joy. We are making cute little jar labels. Alright guys, so here we are in Cricut Design Space, and this is just a blank work area, blank canvas, and what we're going to do today is make our own labels. Okay, these are really easy, I promise. This is we'll call it like a beginner designing video, if that makes any sense. It's like an introduction to customizing your own files. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to upload, and I want to show you what I have. Now I scored this whole set for 1 Plus credit. So if you don't already have a Plus membership for Design Bundles, definitely check it out because this is a very worthwhile set. So it's this one here. It's the Clip Art Borders Doodle Frames. And all you have to do is right click and choose Extract All. I've already done that. All right, I cheated. So I'm going to double click on my new folder. And let me show you another little cheat. I'm going to go to PNG. And this shows me previews of what all of these look like. So you can see they are pretty darn cute. I really like them a lot. And this one here, number 37, is the one that I want to use. I'm not going to click that one. No. We're going to go back, go to the SVG, and open number 37 because they're the same. So there we go. And I'm just going to choose Upload. I'm going to grab that and insert images. Okay. Now from here, I'm just going to go and weld them together because that is the look that I want. But technically it had the inside and the outside. And I need to go ahead and create some text. So what I want to do, now I'm creating labels for jars that I'm going to use on my desk. This is just a new thing I kind of stumbled along and it just was really cute. So we're going to say erasers and I'm going to go ahead and fill this in white. And I'm going to layer this over my label. We'll make it a little smaller, not a whole lot. And watch, if I select these together and go to Align and go to Center, it's going to center those together. Okay, perfect. That's literally one label done. Now let me show you. We're going to, here I usually use shortcuts, but I'm going to show you guys. You go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. If you're familiar, you can also use Control-C and Control-V on your keyboard. And we are going to say thumbtacks. All right, now there's a couple things that we are going to focus on here. It is going to be the line spacing between thumb and tacks, and then we're also going to center the words together. All right, so we'll go to Alignment and Center, and then we will go to line spacing, and I'm going to do -2. I could go a little smaller if I want to. There, -2.5, that looks good. So now, instead of fitting side to side, I just need to fit it top to bottom. But same thing, I'm going to fill this in white, and then I'm going to select both of these, align and center. And there we go. That's another one out of the way. So now edit, copy, edit, paste. And we are going to do one with paper clips and edit, paste. We're going to do one for rubber bands. Now, I don't have a jar for rubber bands just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and make one because I can grab another jar at the dollar store when I go. All right, so grab both of these, align, center, grab these and align, center. Okay, now let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to grab both of these and we're going to slice. And there we go. And we're going to grab these. I'm going to repeat this for all 4 of them. I'm just grabbing my text and the label because all I wanted to do was be able to cut that text out of my shape. So now remember that you can only slice 2 shapes at a time. So it works for this because all I have is the text and the shape, but just something to remember, if you are selecting something and the slice option is not available, you may just need to take a look at all the pieces you're picking up. So I can delete the text because these are all I need. So I'm going to show you something else. I need to size these because I measured my jars and I need them to be 2 inches. So I'm going to go through and make all of these 2 inches just with my little measurement up here. Okay, but now if I click over to make it, watch what happens. We will do without a mat. It puts them all in a row like this. And I don't really like that because I know that they can fit if they were rotated 90 degrees and I would save some vinyl. So I'm going to hit cancel. And I'm going to space these out a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to select these 2, align, center. These 2, align, center. And then I'm going to do the same thing vertically. Align, center, and align, center. Now, does this really matter? Probably not to anybody but me, but there we are. Now I'm going to attach these together. Now when I click over to make it, watch what happens. See, it turns them 90 degrees, which is super great because it's going to save me quite a bit of vinyl. So just, I'm not saying that the automatic nesting feature in Cricut Design Space isn't effective. I love it. I use it a lot. But, just kind of really look at the space that you're giving up potentially, and you may be able to work around it. So the software without a mat, because my Oracle 651 that I'm cutting, I've cut it to 5.5 inches wide, and I just need to make sure I have at least 7.25 inches long. I do, so we're good to go. So I'm going to click continue. Now it's going to connect to my Joy, so make sure it's plugged in and turned on. And then, even though I'm not using a smart material, I'm going to choose the Smart Vinyl Permanent because that setting works perfectly with Oracle 651. I'm going to leave the pressure at default. Now, all I have to do is walk over to the Joy, insert that scrap of Oracle 651 that I have, and then come back here to the software and click go. And then come back to the software and click go. And my little Cricut Joy will just go to town and do all the cutting that I need. So it's super easy, super simple, and I can now save this file and know that I can come back and I will be able to customize this because labels definitely aren't just for something like this. I use them a lot for crafting, but they're great to use in the kitchen. They're great for your spices. They're great in the bathroom. You can even use them for makeup. You can use them for Q-tips and cotton balls and whatever, all different sizes. So don't be afraid to really venture out and learn how to make your own labels. And don't feel like, you have to go buy a specific label maker because I'm gonna let you in on a secret. Those labels are ugly. These are much, much cuter. So we're gonna break you away from those standard label makers and you're gonna start making your labels this way, and it's super addicting and super cute. But let's head on over to the work area and show you what it's like hands-on. All right, guys, so here we are with all of my assortment of goodies. Now, let me show you part of my project inspiration today. I scored this little jar of paper clips at an office supply store years and years ago. And obviously you can tell I don't use paper clips very much, but I really love the bright colors. So I keep them on my desk. So then I came across these at the Dollar Tree today. And of course, when I was school supply shopping, I was really motivated by all the bright colors. So I grabbed these erasers and I also grabbed some push pens. And I don't know about you, but I just really like for my desk to look very, very pretty. And that's where we're at. So what I want to do, in addition to making them look pretty, I want to dress them up with labels because who doesn't need to label things when you have something cute like your little Cricut Joy? So we have permanent adhesive vinyl, transfer tape, a squeegee, weeding tweezers, scissors, and you guys know that I'm a really big fan of using my tape measure. So what I did was I measured out on the jar and I was like, okay, well, it doesn't really matter how wide it is, right? But how tall is it? I said, okay, these absolutely do not need to be more than 2 inches tall. So that's how I arrived at the conclusion that these needed to be 2 inches tall. And here we go. They fit perfectly on the width too wide on this sheet of vinyl. So what I'm going to do, you guys know I already have my file prepped. So I'm going to load in that adhesive vinyl. And then I'm going to walk over to the computer and click go. That way we can go ahead and get this party started. So after the cutting is done, I will show you all about applying to these bottles. All right, so after the cutting's done, go ahead and hit unload in your software. And then we're going to trim around these guys. Super easy. Now weeding also super easy because we're talking about some pretty basic shapes. So I'm just going to pull a corner, peel it back. There we go. And then I can just go in and pull out my letters. All right, guys, now all that boring weeding is out of the way. Let's go ahead and get back to it. So what I have is I have fully weeded all of these, and I can just take small pieces of transfer tape and transfer these over. So I will start with the paper clips. Just gonna cover my whole design, grab my squeegee, give it a good burnishing. And then, you guys know I like to peel from the back. There we go. So I'm gonna take my paper clips, lay it down. Now this one isn't completely round. It has squared off sides, so it's a little easier. But I can just position it, and I'm hovering over it to try to get it as center as possible. There we go. And then smooth it down, and then just remove the transfer tape. Okay, one down. Isn't that cute? I really like the black because you can see the colors through the letters. So really like that a lot. I like how that turned out. All right, so let's grab another one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a roll of painter's tape to hold it in place because these are all the way round. So they will try to roll away. Let's see, and we will do erasers. Now I'm actually using the same piece of transfer tape, and if my luck holds out, I can use the same piece for all three of these jars. Now there's not really a rhyme or reason. These are a little bit easier, although you need something to hold them in place, but there's not really a center as long as you get it centered horizontally. You don't so much have to worry about where it lands on the jar itself because it's circular all the way around. All right, there's that one. And last, we'll do our thumbtacks. All right, so once again, just gonna eyeball it. I think that using a shape like this too, instead of using just regular text, really helps that, number one, they all look nice and labeled, right? They all look the same, they're uniform. I think they look professional. But also, if it's not completely straight, like you can't tell as much. If your text is crooked, oh, you can tell any day of the week. Like I actually think this one is probably a little crooked. Does that make sense? Let's see, there we go. But because of the shape and it's nice and rounded, you can't really tell quite as much. All right, so let's fill these bad boys. So we have erasers. Now, I will say that I picked these, not just the erasers, but the thumbtacks, because, you know, like I said, I wanted these for decoration, but this was insanely expensive when I bought it. So that's why I didn't venture out and get a lot more. But these erasers, especially around back to school time, are super duper inexpensive. And I do have elementary age daughter, so these can go to use if I need them, because I don't want to be super wasteful. And then, let's see. There we go. Well, I mostly made it. All right, let's give this one a shake, because it has colors and clear. There we go. So we have three similar yet not identical jars, which I think is really cute. And let's talk about some things. I know I touched on it in the software, but what I really love about these projects is that this isn't just a project to learn about labeling jars that you don't really need to go on your desk. This is a project about learning how to label jars that can go in your kitchen, jars that can go in your bathroom, jars that can travel with you. I really think that these plastic jars, this is a pretty small size, but you can find plastic jars pretty inexpensively at most stores and buying them in bulk. You can organize your spices. You can organize, simple things like Q-tips. Like I can see myself getting another one of these to put Q-tips in for when I travel. So lots of really great uses. So definitely don't discard the idea, and being able to label them, I think just makes them super fun and super cute. So let's go ahead and wrap it up for today. So guys, how did you feel about our jar labels? Now, I think they're really easy, really cute. They are something that can really bring your decor together. Like I said, if you're gonna do this in your kitchen or in your bathroom. And what I love about it, because it speaks to the kind of farmhouse nature of me, I love mixing and matching the jars. So if you happen to be a collector of Auden and Mason jars like I am, this is a really great way to mix and match those jars, use them for what you need them for, and draw them into a cohesive look by applying these custom labels. Now, hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial as far as being able to customize these yourself, because I'm telling you, the options are just nearly unlimited on all the different things that you can label. So if you learned something today, definitely give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. I really love all the support that you show for us here. And guys, I just appreciate you stopping by today. So I'm gonna wrap it up, but we'll see you again next time.